Motherboard replacement day. Motherboard replacement day. Motherboard replacement day. Motherboard replacement day. It's motherboard replacement day. Got my new motherboard. I already have my eDrift UH-E71 all disconnected. I have also disconnected the battery. We're gonna take the battery out, move that to the side, and then we are gonna replace the motherboard. You can see they have the battery kind of wedged in here with these little foam pieces, so I'm gonna go ahead and carefully get it out of there. I'm just gonna go ahead and set the battery to the side over here. All right, now we're in here. We need to figure out a way to be able to get all these wires disconnected, but also remember how they go back together as well. First, I'm gonna carefully cut this little cable tie around these cables here, making sure I don't cut any of the wires. So it looks like there is the same color wires coming from each of the motors. I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect these first. To make things easier, I'm actually gonna disassemble this top board here as well. There's just one Phillips head screw holding it into place. You know, it might help if I go ahead and label some of these wires, so that way when I'm putting them back together, I know exactly where they came from. Let's go get some labels. So actually what I did is I used a real high-tech method here, and I used blue painter's tape and marked the cables going to this motor, number 1, and the cables going to this motor as number 2. And then I went onto the motherboard and I marked which cables are gonna go from motor 1 to the motherboard with wrapping blue tape around them. So you see the green with blue tape, blue with blue tape, yellow with blue tape. That way I know that motor 1 goes to these, and then the ones without the blue tape go directly to motor 2. There's this little cluster of wires as well that I marked this with blue tape to know that that's where it's gonna plug into. So motor 1, little cluster of wires is gonna go right into this right here as well. So now I'm gonna continue disconnecting all the wires. Now that I have them marked, I feel very good about them. So it does look like there are 2 wires that run from the motherboard all the way over to the battery meter. Let's go ahead and disconnect those as well. And it also looks like there are 2 wires from the on-off button that run into the motherboard as well. Let's disconnect those. So now we have everything disconnected. Let's go ahead and unscrew the motherboard from the base. The screws for it are on the back side of this. Right here. I got the old motherboard out. Time to put the new one in. And then we're gonna have to go through and screw it back in from the bottom. So I got one of the screws in, went about halfway in just to keep the board in place so that it's easy for me to line up the remaining 3. I'm gonna do that now. Now we have all 4 screws holding the motherboard into place. Let's go ahead and reconnect all the wires. So if you remember, the wires with the blue tape around it correlate with motor number 1, which I have marked here. Green to green, yellow to yellow, and blue to blue. As you can see, my dog found something better to do at this point. Now there's also this little cluster of wires here. And that goes to the little connector that has the blue tape on it. And now we connect the wires from motor 2. And again, this little cluster goes to the connector that does not have the blue tape on it. Then there's this little cluster of 3 wires that connects to this board. And then this board screws in right on there. This is from the on-off switch, which goes to right here. Now this was from the speaker that I previously disconnected. I'm gonna reconnect it for now, but decide maybe to disconnect it after. And then this goes over to the battery gauge. So now I'm going to reconnect the battery, try it out. If everything looks good, then I'll tighten up the cables a little bit and we'll be good to go. Let's give it a try. I went ahead and repositioned the board to where the wheels are off of my ottoman here. So that way when they're spinning, they don't tear it up. Let's go ahead and fire it on.
The Bluetooth device is ready to pair.
So far so good. Let's turn on the remote. Now I'm assuming since I replaced the motherboard, I'm gonna have to repair the remote as well.
The Bluetooth device is ready to pair.
So far so good. Let's shift it back. Make sure it works in reverse as well. Everything seems pretty good so far. Let's go ahead and put it into high-speed mode. Okay, high speed seems to work. Let's go ahead and shift it again. Everything seems to be working as planned. I am going to disconnect the speaker again, reassemble it, and then we'll take it outside to see how the new motherboard works with an antenna that should fix the issues I was having before. Let's give it a try. Out here in the field, ready to test the changes that I just made by swapping out the motherboard. Let's see if this helps increase the connection between the controller and the skateboard. I have it in low power mode. Let's give it a try. So far so good. Haven't lost connection yet. Holding it up here. Still all good. Let's bring it even higher. Wow. Still all good. Haven't even lost connection. I lost it a little bit there, but still, it took me being all the way up here for it to go. That's pretty good. Definitely an increase in the connection there. Down by my side, which is where it's supposed to be, away from my body, I'm having zero issues. Yeah, this thing's fine. Gonna switch it into high power mode now. Let's do it. Yeah, everything seems to be working just fine. No issues. Seems to be holding its connection just great. No issues at all. Everything seems all good. Seems like it fixed the issue. I'm very grateful for that. It's no secret that I've had my fair share of problems with this board so far, but I am very happy with the company that supports this board. I reached out to them with the issue. They sent me a brand new motherboard, free of charge, for me to swap out, and it fixed the issue. After I installed this motherboard, I received another email saying that there's another part coming to me, which I should have in the next week or so. I'm not exactly sure what the part is, but once I get it, who knows, maybe I'll do another video as well. Thank you very much for watching, and I do hope you enjoyed this video.